Paging Aitken Robertson to courtroom number 2. The jury is back with a verdict. Members of the jury, how do you find the accused? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty on all accounts, Your Honor.
Welcome back to Legally Speaking. I'm Melanie van Orde, a licensed paralegal with Aitken Robertson, and today I'm joined again by Associate Counsel Will Hume. Today we'll be discussing the Sex Offender Information Registration Act, or SOIRA, including its purpose, how it affects those convicted of sexual offences, the registration requirements under this legislation, etc. So Will is here to help us understand the implications of SOIRA and what compliance entails. Well, what is SOIRA and how does it relate to sexual assault cases?
So as you mentioned, SOIRA, S-O-I-R-A, stands for the Sex Offender Information Registration Act. Now, this is a piece of legislation that requires individuals convicted of certain offenses, usually sexually offenses such as sexual assault, to register with the National Sex Offender Registry. Now, depending on the situation, an individual convicted of one of these offenses may have to register as a sex offender. And these orders can be in place for anywhere from 10 years, 20 years, or even for life, depending on the offenses involved. It's up to the sentencing judge to determine whether a SOIRA order is necessary, and if so, for how long.
You touch upon it quickly, but can you maybe provide us with a little bit of an in-depth view of who is required to register under SOIRA?
Yeah, so a SOIRA order is required where an individual is guilty of a what's called designated offense. These offenses are all listed under SOIRA, but there's far too many to list off in this video. But it would include things like sexual assault, child pornography, luring a child, sexual interference, or even human trafficking. If the designated offense is prosecuted by indictment and the victim is a minor, and if the sentence involves imprisonment of a period longer than 2 years, then a SOIRA order becomes mandatory.
How does SOIRA registration affect a person's life after the conviction? And then what kind of information is actually included in this registry?
So as mentioned, SOIRA registration can be in effect for 10 years all the way up to life. Part of the registration involves constant updates and check-ins with a SOIRA officer or at a registration center. The individual must provide their name, contact information, employment or education details, a physical description, so height, weight, any physical identifiers like tattoos, and even vehicle as well as passport information. If any of this information is changed, then the offender must provide notice within 7 days of the change occurring. This information is then used by law enforcement as a means to monitor and ideally prevent future offenses. Contrary to what is shown on TV or in movies, this registry is not publicly available. There's no map to look up and see if individuals subject to these orders are in your area, as this, of course, has been deemed a violation of privacy, as well as a violation of the principles of rehabilitation where sentencing is concerned. The information obtained through SOIRA is exclusively for law enforcement to access.
If someone finds himself to have a SOIRA registry or SOIRA order and is registered on SOIRA, can they challenge or appeal their SOIRA registration? And if so, can you give us an overview of what the process is for doing that?
Certainly. An individual can apply to challenge or appeal their SOIRA order. Depending on the type of order, there are basically two different routes for either changing or revoking the order. So the first route would be to launch an application with the courts to either rescind or alter this order. And in doing so, the court must be satisfied that the order is not necessary to uphold public safety. If the court is satisfied on this ground, then they may allow an appeal and require a new hearing, or they might revoke or amend the order as needed based on the circumstances. It's worth noting that certain SOIRA orders do not have an automatic right to appeal. In some cases, a SOIRA order can be corrected through what's called judicial review, which is a longer process than submitting an application for the order to be changed or revoked. A judicial review would involve arguing that the ordering judge erred in principle or failed to consider a relevant factor in determining this sentence, or that they overemphasized other factors in reaching this decision, or that the decision itself was clearly unreasonable. This can be challenging to argue, but that does not mean it's not available as an option. Ultimately, it depends on the offenses that are alleged and other surrounding circumstances relating to the severity of the situation in determining whether a challenge or appeal would be successful.
Well, thank you so much, Will, for shedding some light on such an important but sensitive issue. And thank you to everyone else for joining us on the Aitken Robertson YouTube channel. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and take care. Thank you for tuning in to Legally Speaking, proudly brought to you by Aitken Robertson Criminal Defence. We represent clients facing criminal charges all over Ontario, providing you with legal support and dedicated advocacy. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more content, please like and subscribe to our channel. For more information, visit our website. We also offer free books on various types of criminal charges, which you can request on our website or by using the QR codes on your screen now. For legal assistance, call us today or visit our website to request a meeting with one of our experienced lawyers or licensed paralegals. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Legally Speaking.